Remember, journalism, viewers, is about asking the tough questions. It's about, viewers, at the end of the day, holding to account. It is not about running agendas. It is not about carrying out character assassinations. And today, The Wire magazine and its senior journalists have admitted to having not done due diligence in their reportage that ended up denting India's image adversely, and also the image of certain individuals who have turned around and sued The Wire. On the back of these cases, viewers, the police yesterday decided to survey the homes of 3 editors of The Wire, 1 deputy editor, and product-cum-business head. Viewers, they were not arrested, but electronic devices like mobiles, laptops, and tablets were seized by the crime branch of the Delhi police. After the raids, the news portal played the victim card yet again by claiming that due process was not followed during the searches. The Wire alleged that the electronic devices were seized without mentioning any hash value, a unique numerical value which is used to ensure the integrity of the device and its data. It is also alleged that despite cooperation, its office was also raided and hard disks were seized. Viewers, a huge ecosystem now has sprung to the defense of The Wire. It has acted to give a clean chit to the editors of The Wire, absolving them from the alleged crimes that they stand accused of. Their reasoning is that the crackdown is motivated, that given The Wire had retracted its report and expressed regret, the matter should be left at that. The ecosystem claims that the searches are nothing but an absolute abuse of power and a direct attack on press freedom. It asks why the cops, the police, are acting on a private complaint of BJP's fake news peddler-in-chief. This is what they've called him, Amit Malviya. Now listen to their argument, viewers.
Absolute, the abuse of power and the outrageous act, and this is a direct attack on the press freedom and also the liberty of the people. And I think this is, you cannot excuse this. When the entire nation should have, or the administration should have focused on arresting the culprits in Morbid Bridge, collapse of the Morbid Bridge.
You heard it. There you heard it, Mr. Moily of the Congress coming out and defending. Let me go straight across to Siddharth Talia. Siddharth, if you can hear me. The Wire, however, is playing the victim card. How do you substantiate this?
So The Wire issued a statement earlier yesterday, Rahul, after the raids or the searches that were conducted at the premises of some of their top officials pertaining to the stories they carried against Meta. Now The Wire says that the hash value of the technical equipment that has been seized has not been provided to them. Like you said earlier, it's a numerical value that basically ensures that a certain integrity of the technical devices is maintained, it's not compromised, the data is not compromised. So that's an answer that the Delhi police will also have to provide. But the ecosystem that has actually been claiming that The Wire is in this case a victim at the receiving end of a suppression of free speech on the part of the authorities and the establishment also need to explain. Now the Delhi police actually has followed due procedure in this matter by issuing a notice under section 91 of the CRPC, Rahul. Now that is basically pertaining to a summons that is issued to a certain accused to provide certain documentary evidence. So therefore that procedure has been followed, and it is something that The Wire itself admits in the statement that it's provided, saying that pursuant to the notice provided under section 91 of the CRPC, certain evidences were sought from us which we provided to the Delhi police. So that's point number one, where The Wire itself admits that due procedure has been followed through the issuance of a notice under section 91 of the CRPC. Now what else does the ecosystem say? It says that this is just a private defamation case that is being pursued. This is something that Karti Chidambaram had also mentioned in his defense of The Wire. But that simply doesn't fly in the face, Rahul, because it's not just a case of defamation under Section 499 and 500 of the IPC. It's also a case of forgery under several sections of the IPC, including Section 467. Additionally, a case under Section 120B of the IPC under criminal conspiracy has also been filed to be read in with Section 34, which relates to common intent. So therefore, it's not just a case of defamation that's being pursued by the Delhi police here. It's a whole lot of other cases, including cheating and forgery, as well as criminal conspiracy, that will have to be investigated, and therefore certain material which is evidence in this matter procured from the accused. So don't treat this as just a private defamation complaint, as the Congress party and other members of the so-called ecosystem are claiming.
Well, viewers, let me tell you that this entire ecosystem, and there's more breaking news coming in, the Press Club of India now has defended The Wire, describes the police action as vendetta. Now, viewers, where was the Press Club of India claiming vendetta when journalists like Aman Chopra, Rohit Ranjan, Nilesh Sharma, and now the INB Ministry advisor Kanchan Gupta were being harangued and harassed? Viewers, FIR was filed against Aman Chopra in Rajasthan for insulting the religious beliefs and promoting enmity. No one came out and said that he was a victim of Rajasthan government's persecution. Congress government there. Chhattisgarh police came all the way to arrest journalist Rohit Ranjan, and he telecasted a misleading post on Rahul Gandhi and apologized soon after. No one said he's apologized. There is no mens rea here, so forgive him. No, they wanted him arrested. The Congress itself that today stands with The Wire wanted these people arrested, thrown into jail, and the keys also thrown away. Nilesh Sharma, a Raipur-based journalist, was arrested for his writings that used to satire and criticize the state government. Yes, viewers, that's also a government that is propped by the Congress party. They jailed him. Kanchan Gupta's Twitter handle was blocked in 2012 for his posts on Assam violence and Northeast Exodus. He was muzzled. No one was talking about his freedoms then. Why, viewers? That's a fundamental question. Are today certain journalists above the law because they pander to a particular preset ideology? That's the fundamental question. Let's open this up. Dr. Anand Ranganathan is here with us. Dr. Ranganathan, what do you make of this absolute brouhaha over what is, according to the police, due process and this selective amnesia?
Good evening, Rahul, and good evening to my fellow panelists. I have four points to make very briefly. Number one, I disagree with you. I condemn in the strongest possible terms the actions that have been taken by the police and the government of India. This is no way to treat an American citizen. I think the Indian ambassador must be summoned, and what is happening to the American citizen has to be criticized universally, because this is another a reason why the democracy index and India will plummet again. And I thought our relations were getting better with America, but I think with the Trump gone and Joe Biden coming in, this is absolutely calamitous, and I think the government should rethink on this and apologize to the American citizen. Number two, Rahul, if you think that The Wire conducts journalism, then I'm afraid Rahul Shiv Shankar is Rahul Gandhi. These guys are the landfill, methane-spewing landfill of fake news and propaganda and selectivity. I myself have exposed a couple of their fake news, the late Vinod Dua and his fake news on the number of Indians without toilets. But the point is, that was not an exception. That is a rule, and after some time you just give up on it and you say, well, it is not just a facade, it is an institution of fake news. How many fake news are you going to expose every day? Number two, and let me add there that I am fundamentally against criminal defamation, and I have said this on record. I am not against civil defamation, but again, Wire is for criminal defamation, and Wire is also for supporting the charges that are based on forgery and other CRPC actions. So this is not just criminal or civil defamation, I'm sorry. This pertains to forgery that was conducted by Wire employees, and Wire itself has said that has thrown one of its reporters under the bus, saying that, we were taken for a ride by our own journalist who has, quote unquote, committed forgery. Now, if you say that, then is it not incumbent upon the police to investigate whether forgery has been committed or not. And that is what has been happening. So for the Wire to say that these things are not standard operating procedure is, I'm afraid, another wild goose chase. And let me also comment here a little bit on the state of the ecosystem that you talked about. You rightly pointed out a few journalists, and let me take a few other. They may be nameless, but the fact of the matter is that in any government, state government that is not ruled by the BJP, such incidents occur every day by their dozens. Whenever, for example, in Maharashtra, when BJP was not ruling Maharashtra in coalition, a journalist was arrested. His computer was confiscated. You talked about in Rajasthan. There was another case in Chhattisgarh. Then there was another case in Karnataka when Congress was, in the ruling Karnataka. A journalist who criticized Tipu Sultan, he was arrested. A YouTuber / journalist blogger called Karthik in Tamil Nadu, his computer was confiscated. Wire did not outrage. Nobody outraged. So you see, you reap what you sow. And out here, when Wire supports the police acting on forgery as well as on criminal defamation, how can it say that please excuse us? Go after people who are there, quote unquote, journalists doing all these malafide things in non-BJP ruled states.
Well, viewers, it's funny, isn't it? Propaganda that dents the nation's image is a journalist's prerogative, according to them. But a probe to expose the propaganda is persecution. And they remember this axiom, viewers, only when it's their own. अपने काफिले वाले caravan पे जो हैं, they will only apply this axiom to those people. Others who are critical of them, for example, should be jailed. No questions asked. I mean, listen to the criticism that is coming. Editors of Wire are to be proud of, says Salman Khurshid of the Congress. Karti Chidambaram, private complaint leads to raids, he says. Mahua Moitra of the TMC, wholesome intrusion of privacy. Mark the words, Supriya Srinate of the Congress, bid to silence those who question. Sitaram Yechuri, conducting raids is vindictiveness, he says. Viewers, the Congress defended the draconian section 66A in court. It had to be struck by the Supreme Court. Many people, journalists were jailed, activists were jailed. The Congress UPA government jailed for sedition thousands. No, not one or two, thousands, viewers, in one day. In Tamil Nadu, when they came out to protest against a nuclear reactor, rightly or wrongly, several journalists were among them. No questions asked. Tehseen Poonawalla, why is it that certain journalists have greater rights than others in your book? Why should people like Aman Chopra, Rohit Ranjan, Nilesh Sharma, Kanchan Gupta go to jail, but not the likes of these two individuals or whoever else who is being probed today?
I understood, Rahul. Thank you, and I'll just be very brief. I just want to slightly fact check you. 66A, yes, was brought in by the Congress. I won't deny that. But the BJP government under Ravi Shankar Prasad defended 66A. Absolutely defended 66A. And I want to put this on record. You may fact check me. Also, one more thing. The BJP government under Ravi Shankar
Prasad. Did the UPA do so or not?
Of course they did, and I admitted
to it. That's it. I'm talking about today. See, the BJP in your book is a tormentor of journalists. Right?
Sir,
I thought you were not.
I've got
so
your
my
point.
Don't shift the goalpost. Talk about your party. Talk about your duplicity and your hypocrisy.
Sir, allow me to make my point. I'm saying the Congress bought it in, but
can you tell me something? Do you justify Salman Khurshid's statement? Editors of Wire are to be proud of. Editors who have come out and confessed.
That statement.
No, 1 second. Confessed. What brief do you hold for the Wire, sir? Let me ask you this. Let me ask you. They have come out
but I can only
and
speak
admitted.
If you don't interrupt me.
Excuse me, I'll finish. They have come out and admitted to forging, not following due process. And some of those articles ended up denting India's image nationally. We came down on the Freedom House Index. The Freedom House quoted this so-called journalism. Did it not? Are you proud of the fact that India has slipped because of this irresponsible, perhaps untrammeled, unfact-checked, verified journalism, sir? Are you proud of this? Do you not care about India's image being dented by some entrepreneurs? Simple question.
I care about India's image a lot more than the current government cares about India's image. Now, if I'm not interrupted, allow me to speak. I come from a school of thought where I believe absolutely very, very firmly that no journalist should be affected with criminal defamation, or the government should go after any government or any journalist, whether it is Badarajan or M.K. Venu of The Wire, or whether it is Rohit Ranjan or Aman Chopra, IBN Network or Z News. In fact, with Rohit Ranjan and with Aman Chopra, as the case with M.K. Venu, I spoke to them and I said that this is wrong, and I think it's absolutely wrong. It shouldn't happen, whether it's Congress or BJP. We need to live in an India. Allow me to finish, Rahul. We need to live in an India where journalists are protected and
don't give me these pious homilies.
That is the India
ask your foul-mouthed, gutter-sniping, digital nomads in the Congress party from stop going after journalists and constantly threatening them with criminal defamation suit. One of those individuals, one of those individuals who bobbles between Rahul Gandhi's yatra and Mrs. Indira Gandhi, and Mrs. Sonia Gandhi's darbar today, goes on to social media and tries to shame journalists spuriously. So, Mr. Poonawalla, do you accept that? Do you think that's right?
I think, and I'm making this extremely clear, I think, sir, I'm giving you an answer, just very brief answer. I think both the Congress and the BJP's IT cell need to
both the Congress and the BJP, both. You see, viewers, the man has no courage of conviction. He takes a position and then immediately resorts, viewers, to prevarication and drawing all sorts of equivalences. Rightly or wrongly, but he will draw that equivalence. Have the guts, Mr. Tehseen Poonawalla, to call out this yo-yoing digital nomad who only has built his career walking around, walking around 10 Janpath.
Who is walking around 10 Janpath?
I'm not going to name people because that person... Why should I? Why should I? Because, one second. I won't name those people. I think anyone who has half a brain will be able to identify what I'm talking about. Now, 1 second. Let me bring in Tohin Sinha of the BJP. Give me 30 seconds. And Ashutosh. Tohin Sinha, how do you respond to Tehseen Poonawalla tonight? And his Congress band of brothers who say editors of Wire are to be proud of, wholesome intrusion of privacy, bid to silence those who question, and so forth.
Well, good evening, Rahul. At least on your show, you should start by you should stop calling these the Wire team journalists, because they are compulsive perpetrators, manufacturers and spreaders of falsehood with a definite intent to harm the country's reputation. And I'm saying this because a graver issue was the way they defamed Bharat Biotech at the peak of second wave. When Bharat Biotech was coming out with its...
It's not as if political leaders have not tweeted irresponsibly and lied also.
No, but journalists doing that by manufacturing emails.
I can understand you taking umbrage at the Wire, etc. I'm not going to sit here and call them. I don't believe in labeling anybody, viewers, especially from my fraternity. I have no problem labeling politicians who are mealy-mouthed. No problems. But I will not label fellow journalists. That's for the courts to come to a conclusion. They can convict them, they can jail them, they can do what they want to. That's for the courts to decide. All I'm saying, I'm asking you to respond on the charge that has been brought against you, that you're muzzling freedom of expression and that you're invading and intruding the privacy of certain individuals.
If Salman Khurshid feels, he needs to be proud of Wire, it's his choice.
Okay, it's his choice.
That's why people.
And he has to live with it. Ashutosh, are you proud? Are you proud of individuals? Are you proud of individuals, and you're a journalist who didn't do due diligence? Does that make you proud?
Rahul, you are an editor and I had been an editor.
Yes, sir.
So there is a larger question here.
Okay.
You are running a 24 hours channel. I had run 24 hours news channel.
Yes.
there is always a possibility of committing a mistake.
Of course.
That's why filters are there. That's why the processes are there. And if a news channel or newspaper are committing a mistake, it's a duty to admit mistakes. And also,
suffer the
if they have committed some criminal act, then they should face the music.
They should
it's that
face.
simple.
At least Ashutosh tonight, viewers, is not adding an if and a but.
Yes.
He's not. At least he's being honest to what goes on. Times Now has made many mistakes, viewers. We've also been suffering the consequences in various courts for those. We'll have to explain ourselves. We've apologized here. We don't sit here and whine night after night and saying, oh, isne hamara ugaad diya, usne hamara ukhad diya. No Editors Guild stands up for us. No Press Club of India is lining up outside our office to give us clean chits. Why? That's the question. Dr. Ranganathan, yes, 30 seconds.
Yes, no, very briefly, you see, Rahul, the problem is incomprehensibly compounded because the fake news that is spread in India is immediately taken up by the foreign newspapers and agencies.
Yes.
I take you back to the Elphinstone Bridge collapse where the Hindu perpetrated this awful fake news that a dying woman was being molested by someone. Now, it apologized to the Indian readers, but something happened in social media that it was forced to apologize to the foreign press as well.
Okay.
Now the Wire must do it because one of its stories that it has pulled down for Indian readers is still on.
It's still on and still influencing opinion about our country. I'll leave it at that. Viewers, the news are coming up.